From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, July 30th. A beautiful Friday is in store. Comfortable and cooler. Highs will top out in the upper 70s and low 80s, and it's going to be a great weekend as well. A person was shot to death early this morning on the near north side of Indianapolis, making it 6 shootings in a matter of hours in the city. This one happened around 4:15 this morning on North Capitol Avenue. We're still working to learn more about that. You can follow along on wishtv.com. Also, police say that 3 of the shootings that happened last night are all connected. 3 people were shot in 3 different places on the west side. One of the victims walked into Eskenazi Hospital at 11:30. The other 2 were found just after 11. According to IMPD, one person was shot at a gas station on 16th Street near White River Parkway West Drive. And then Speedway officers found another person on Crawfordsville Road near Lyndhurst Drive. That's about 2 miles away from the gas station. As of the recording of this podcast, we do not know the condition of any of the 3 people shot or who fired the shots. And not long before those, and just north of them, there was a shooting not connected. Police say a man was shot to death. It happened just before 10 last night near 47th in Georgetown. Officers who were there tell us that the man was shot while he was inside a car. IMPD didn't say what led up to those shots being fired, and also this morning there's no word on the shooter. And we're waiting to learn if a Walmart on the south side of Indy will open today after a shooting inside that store. According to police, it happened just before 7 last night at the Walmart on 31 just south of Southport Road. IMPD says officers did talk to 3 people of interest. Right now, it's unclear what may have led up to the gunfire. Police say nobody was hurt. And all of these shootings are happening as Indianapolis leaders plan to discuss ways to reduce crime today. Mayor Joe Hogsett says when the 2022 budget is presented to the City County Council, it will have a major focus on public safety. News 8's Demi Johnson explains why there's more money than in years past.
Another boost to the budget is coming in 2022.
Given the level of gun violence that Indianapolis is experiencing, look, we want to do everything we can to keep Indianapolis safe. And so, as I said, it probably won't surprise you, and it certainly will not surprise me that this budget will have a heavy public safety component.
Mayor Joe Hogsett says in a normal year, the city's budget is roughly $1.3 billion, but next year's will be even bigger. So far, Indianapolis has received half of its $419 million from the American Rescue Plan. The other $210 million will come in 2022, and the city can choose to add it all to the budget.
Some of the restricted usages have been lifted so that frankly, the $419 million can be used not exclusively. It has to be kind of COVID related, but it's not exclusively COVID relief.
IMPD Assistant Chief Chris Bailey says certain parts of the city's crackdown on crime are paying off. He says during the first 4 months of the year, data showed non-fatal shootings were up 65% over the last year. They're still up, but now at 29%. Bailey says the problem is far from solved.
It's nothing to celebrate. My point in telling the story was that the things that we're doing, we're hoping is pushing that needle down toward at least equilibrium.
IMPD could not say for sure what's making the biggest impact, but police believe getting guns off the streets has been a major step.
We did a proactive detail downtown where we got 8 guns off the street in a matter of several hours just down there.
Jose Navarro is a sergeant in the Indiana Crime Gun Task Force. He says last year, through its various units, IMPD recovered 3,700 guns. This year, they're on track to make a 20% increase.
We've seized about 174 guns for the year. Collectively, I believe IMPD's had over 2,400 guns for the year. And then with all the violent crime task force teams and the violent reduction teams is about a little bit over 500, I believe. So IMPD is doing what we can to help try to combat this gun violence, and so is the Indiana Crime Gun Task Force.
I'm Demi Johnson for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And now to pandemic news. A new report claims the Delta variant spreads as easily as the chicken pox and could cause more serious illness. It's a report we've been waiting for from the CDC and one that many schools, governments, and businesses will use to make policies. Wish TV medical expert Dr. Jerome Adams is predicting closures due to the variant, calling this version of the virus nasty, and said it's very different than the COVID we dealt with last year. So, as far as the CDC, this is what they're saying publicly. The Delta variant is causing 80% of new cases all across the country. The report is an unpublished internal document from the CDC. It uses a little more colorful language to describe what we're seeing, saying the variant spreads as easily as chickenpox, meaning one person can infect 8 or 9 others. And it also causes more severe illness in unvaccinated people. It also has bad news for the vaccinated. Vaccinated people can still spread it, maybe as fast as unvaccinated people. The report does balance by saying the vaccine prevents more than 90% of severe cases and prevents infection and symptoms in the vaccinated person.
The vaccines work to do the number one thing that people should care about, and that's keeping them out of the hospital or the morgue. I'm predicting closures in the future because we are not going to be able to rein this variant back in before we get enough spread. It's going to start causing closures again. And so I don't want my kids to have to go through another year of virtual school. I don't want our hospitals to be overwhelmed and for them to be shut down for elective surgeries like we saw last year. Our freedoms are being impinged upon because we have far too many people unvaccinated.
The CDC data is unpublished but should be released today. A top CDC doctor did confirm the information that we have is authentic. Dr. Rochelle Walensky said they're not crying wolf here, and that's why the CDC changed its mask policy this week. And face coverings are back on the school supply list for everyone within Indianapolis Public Schools. They go back Monday. News 8's Sierra Hignite explains the district's decision and heard feelings among families.
4 days out from the first day of school, IPS has announced that all students and staff will be required to wear masks regardless of vaccination status. In a statement sent to News 8, a representative for the district said, as we've communicated the last 18 months and will continue to reiterate, our IPS administration will remain nimble and prepared to change course based on updated recommendations and information from our health leaders and partners. The health and safety of our students and staff remains our top priority, and we want to do what it takes to keep our students safely learning in person this year. For parents like Alicia Rainey, she was surprised to hear the announcement, but relieved as she was going to send her 2 girls back to school in masks, regardless of whether it was mandatory.
I actually like that thought. It's very hard to prove who's been inoculated and who hasn't. So I like the idea of the most protection that we can possibly have. I'm definitely okay with them wearing the masks.
While other parents don't have strong feelings either way, what's most important for Courtney Cox this year is that her son gets to go back to school.
If it keeps the kids safe, let's do it. With this new Delta virus coming out, the new Delta variants, whatever keeps the kids safe, it's okay. I would rather that happen than they shut the schools down.
The latest guidance from the school does say that those who show proof of vaccination will not be required to quarantine if they are exposed to the virus but do not show any symptoms. Not all parents took the news of the requirements as well. Some are frustrated heading into another year of masked learning. Some comments on our Wish TV Facebook page read, it's not good for the ones that have asthma and problems with allergies that are already struggling to breathe. Another commenter wrote, kids don't need masks. This will never end. I'm Sierra Hignite for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
You can now get vaccinated and ride city buses for free. Indigo is offering a 31-day pass if you get the shot. It's at a free pop-up clinic at the Carson Transit Center. It runs from 2 this afternoon until 6 this evening. You can choose either the Moderna or Johnson & Johnson version. You do not need to register ahead of time, but you must be at least 18 years old. And federal workers have a choice to make. President Biden announced they can choose between being vaccinated against COVID-19 or submitting to regular testing. So we talked about this yesterday on the podcast, right? But since then, the president made it official. And within that official announcement, we learned about a new incentive as well. The president is asking state and local governments to use government funding to give $100 to anyone who gets fully vaccinated. Biden says getting vaccinated is about life and death.
Last month, a study showed that over 99% of COVID-19 deaths have been among the unvaccinated. 99%. This is an American tragedy. People are dying and will die who don't have to die. If incentives help us beat this virus, I believe we should use them.
The president is also encouraging employers to offer paid time off for employees and their families to get the shot. And the White House is calling on Congress to pass legislation to extend the eviction moratorium before it expires tomorrow. The nationwide ban is protecting people who can't pay rent due to the pandemic. The Supreme Court has indicated that the Biden administration cannot extend the moratorium on its own. According to Indianapolis City County Council President Vop Osley, he says 145,000 people in Marion County are at risk of being kicked out of their homes. City leaders have set up resources to help. We have all of those on wishtv.com. Just go to wishtv.com, click on this story. You'll find it in the As Seen on Wish TV section. That's at the top of our homepage. And Colts players are back at training camp today, and we're getting an idea of what the defense could look like on Sundays. Players say consistency is going to be key to passing their top 5 finish and becoming the number 1 defense in the league.
I agree 100%. Like I said, like Buck said, we have the players, we have the skill. Now we just got to go out and do everything we can to make those plays. 40 plus. That's our goal. That's our goal, and we're sticking to it.
The Colts will go all out next week as they add pads to their training. And to Olympic news, today, Indiana University grad Michael Brinegar is in the pool for Team USA. He's set to compete in Heat 2 of the men's 1,500-meter freestyle. That follows a lot of action yesterday, including a beautiful gold in women's gymnastics.
This is such a surreal moment, and I just feel like I could have never been here ever. Like, it doesn't even feel like real life.
Team USA's Suni Lee is bringing home that gold in the women's all-around gymnastics competition. The 18-year-old is the first Hmong American to compete in the Olympics. She's from Minnesota. Her state's governor has declared today Sunisa Lee Day. And another Hoosier has a medal moment. Evansville's Lily King took silver in the women's 200-meter breaststroke. Teammate Annie Laser, who trains at IU, won the bronze medal. And a Ball State grad makes history in Olympic softball, winning the bronze. Jen Gilbert plays for Canada. The team beat Mexico 3-2 for its first ever bronze medal. According to Ball State, this is Gilbert's first time at the Olympics. The Indiana State Fair is back, kicked off this morning. The theme is celebrating the Hoosier spirit. That means the fair is full of food, animals, music, and rides, everything Indiana. A lot of new things are offered this year, too, like a double-decker carousel, some new foods you can try. The gates open at 6:30 this morning for the opening ceremony, and things are ready to go. Yesterday, the final inspections of the rides took place. A lot of food vendors tested out their dishes, and there are some new attractions like the animal yoga, a bubble tower, backyard brats and brews, and about 46 rides in the Midway. Plus, of course, a lot of COVID precautions. Last year had to be canceled because of the pandemic, so now there's even more excitement swirling, and the staff says that they are ready.
We're so excited to welcome Hoosiers back to the great Indiana State Fair. It's our 164th Indiana State Fair.
Well, we're going to feed everybody that comes up to that booth. So whether it's 1 or 1 million, we're going to feed every single one of them.
The fair runs today until August 22nd. It is a little different this year. It's only open Wednesdays through Sundays. It's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays for extra cleanup. Tickets are $13, but children 5 and under are free. And typically the gates open at 9 o'clock, but things did get started early this morning. And before you head out anywhere today, be aware if you break the hands-free law, you now could face a bigger penalty. A ticket for holding your phone while driving will now get you 4 points against your license. If you're speeding in a school or work zone, you could get up to 8 points. That's more than in the past. State police say they've issued nearly 16,000 tickets or warnings in the year since the hands-free law took effect. And the Pacers are welcoming 2 new players to the roster after last night's draft. An overnight swap lands Indiana an extra first. The pick we knew would happen, the 13th overall selection. The Pacers chose Chris Duarte, a shooting guard who was Pac-12 Player of the Year for Oregon, shooting 42% from the three-point range. He is originally from the Dominican Republic.
You know, more people here in the United States that really helped me through this process. It wasn't easy, but, you know, thank God I made it, you know. And, you know, the faith I got in me, you know, I always believe. And, yeah, thanks to those people that helped me out.
The other first rounder is an overnight surprise. Through a series of trades, the Pacers get the Lakers selection at number 22, Kentucky forward Isaiah Jackson. He immediately tweeted, "Let's go, Indiana. Let's get to work." A creative arts festival is coming to Fountain Square. It'll include an art-based fashion show, live painting, and dance performances. Local businesses will also offer specials and discounts. Organizers say the festival is meant to help encourage people to visit small businesses and highlight local talent. It runs Saturday, August 7th from noon to 8 p.m. in the Fountain Square Plaza. Rose Holman reaches an ambitious fundraising goal. The campaign, called Mission Driven, has raised $250 million. The school says $127 million is going to scholarships and financial aid, and the rest will help with campus projects, new workspaces, and classrooms. Rose Holman started the fundraiser in 2018. And a reminder, as school goes back in session, Wish TV is stocking shelves at Teachers' Treasures in the Great Paper Push. It's the 7th year for the event. Last year brought in a truck full of school supplies and $37,000 to buy more for classrooms in Indianapolis. And we need your help to do even better this year. Go online right now, wishtv.com. There's a link to donate under the community tab and one to form your own collection team. You can find the full list of sponsor locations and where you can drop off new school supplies as well. And finally, to business headlines, the U.S. health regulator expanded the emergency use authorization for Eli Lilly's COVID-19 drug, saying it could now be used without taking Gilead's drug remdesivir along with it. In November, the FDA approved the Lilly arthritis drug to treat COVID patients. The FDA's expanded use comes after trial data. The trial of those receiving the Lilly treatment were less likely to be put on a ventilator. All of the educational loss from school closures will have grave financial implications. McKinsey analysts find that students adversely impacted by school closures could earn $49,000 to $61,000 less over their lifetimes as a result. This may amount to a $128 billion to $188 billion annual loss to the U.S. economy as the affected generation eventually enters the workforce. A boom in national park tourism has left lawmakers wondering how to preserve nature and the visitor experience amid increased traffic, crowds, and waiting times. Bloomberg says reservations, staffing, and car limits are pitched as solutions during testimony in a Senate subcommittee hearing. National park tourism has grown steadily for decades, particularly accelerating in the 2010s. After a brief pandemic lull, visitors have returned to seek fresh air, smashing monthly attendance records at the parks. And apparently America's chickens aren't multiplying fast enough to keep pace with soaring demand. There are strong chicken sales at grocery stores and restaurants like Popeye's Louisiana Chicken and McDonald's. The demand helped pilgrims beat analysts' profit estimates. Chicken breasts at grocery stores have recently been fetching prices around 2015 levels, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV. Have a great weekend, everybody.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast, The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.